All right, welcome back. So right now it is Sunday, January 18th, 2026. We're about halfway through the month, so I want to give a little update on the journey, the challenge, what the progress is looking like. So right now we have the expenses that I've racked up from Top Step. So I have not gotten a payout yet this month, and I've spent a lot of money, $4,335 on Top Step combines and activation fees. And of course, I also have roughly 3,000 in monthly expenses. So we have about 2 weeks. We'll see if we can get a payout, but that's kind of where I stand right now on the expenses. So that's a good amount of money. So I basically need to make 8 grand by the end of the month in order to cover these expenses from Top Step and my monthly expenses. So going into my props, I have three Express accounts from Top Step, and then these two combines, I blew those. So right now, they're sitting at, all of these are sitting at a minus 644 balance. And because I took a win and then lost, I only have a little over 3K max drawdown. So we're right around, I have about $2,500 of drawdown um, because the first day and then the second day was a loss. So going into my trades from Friday, um, or this is actually Thursday night in the gold session. So this kind of pissed me off and kind of like cascaded into Friday. But let's do a little review. So we were in a range here, and overall, like the market is very bullish on gold, obviously, and I was expecting us to do exactly this. I was just very wrong about the time. And so I was getting screwed over the whole week trying to trade inside this range. But I think now that we took out these lows, gold is going to have some clean price action uh, the next, coming week or so, at least. Although I was bearishly biased, these are the trades that I took, so I'll be fully transparent with it. Um, yeah, I basically we had equal lows here, equal lows here. We had some relative equal highs. We're just sitting inside of the range, and I saw this big displacement up, and I was just like, ah, screw it. Gold's probably just gonna go up, and I smacked along. Definitely a rule break because I'm not allowed to long when I have equal lows here below, but I did it anyway. Took the loss. Then was super zoomed in for this one. Took a loss there. This model looked pretty clean in my opinion. Got stopped out at break even, that's whatever. And then at this point, I shouldn't have been trading anymore, but took a short back on my bias to take out these lows. This short was fine too. It was just outside of the hours that I'm supposed to be trading. So just a whole lot of breaking rules here. But yeah, this was profitable at the start, and then I eventually got stopped out at break even, and then during the New York session, we just kind of chopped around during London, took out some highs, and then ripped it lower. So realistically, um, just trading inside the range in gold was not advantageous to me, and I lost every day during the week that I traded gold. I think it was 4 days in a row that I lost. And then New York session, I was actually doing well, but they pretty much just canceled out. So on Friday, this is the morning after that gold session. I was down maybe $1,700 from those gold trades. I took this setup on ES, which I thought looked good. We were clearly rounding over. We had this clear swing low. We made pretty much equal lows with that and then retraced. So I felt this was like without a doubt gonna get hit. And so I just took a 15-second model. Um, so we just rolled over, broke market structure, respected that, got in short, and then I made it. It was like 1,100 bucks. So I was still down like $500 from the Asia session. Um, and yeah, I think that was just kind of like a trigger in my mind. I was like pissed off. I wanted to make that back. And instead of just stepping away, I continued to stick around. And this is the first New York session in a bit that I really like tilted hard. It's pretty embarrassing to show, but we're being transparent. So took this short later on. Um, Knew I should have exited at break even once I saw this retracement, but or sorry, a reversal, but I didn't. Took a loss, then went long, got bottom ticked at break even right here, and then this was going to be, I was going to take 2 out of 3 contracts off here and then leave the rest to run to the morning highs, but didn't get that, so I was pretty pissed off there. And then, yeah, here I screwed myself, man. But let's take a look at the 5 minute first. Uh, so once this internal high guy ran out and we had this huge dump to the downside, this to me looks like a beautiful short model. So I'll just remove this right now so I can kind of explain what I was looking at the time, um, and kind of like think back as to like why this made me so tilted and like how I could prevent that in the future. So after getting bottom ticked at break even like that, and then like having it hit my first profit target, uh, combined with the Asia session and then the losing trade and all that, definitely was just like tilt was climbing. But yeah, we ran out this internal high and we completely ripped through this whole like bullish price move. And this is the 5 minute chart. So to me, this is super bearish. This is your order block, your change in the state of delivery right here. Completely ripped through that bullish move. And then we have, your stacked lows here that I'm expecting the market to continue to the downside. Looking at the NASDAQ, pretty much the same thing. And another confluence is we have an SMT at those highs. So ES clearly made a higher high right here. And so once we had that SMT form and then the huge displacement to the downside on the 5 minute, I'm like, all right, this looks absolutely gorgeous for some shorts. And so because I was so confident in this being a short model, I combined with like the tilt that I was feeling before, I definitely jumped the gun on shorts and just kind of, made some poor decisions. Ultimately, I was correct on the bias, but it was just kind of like consolidating for the majority of the session. And then we actually had to run lower, like right at market close, pretty much. Um, so yeah, this is the 5 minute. And then zooming in, I took a bunch of trades, starting with this on the 15 second, uh, this short model here, which like the internal model looks fine on the 15 second. It's just more of the context, like, this is way too far down in the range. Little internal SMT, and I was like, all right, yeah, this is probably not going to work out. So shouldn't have taken that trade for that principle. And then, yeah, we ran up into that premium, and I was just so happy to, or not happy, but I was so like set on just jumping into shorts that instead of waiting for just a clean model, I was just jumping in on anything. So we basically just like rejected from the premium of the range, and I just smacked a short, got stopped, formed an SMT at these highs, dropped, shorted again, and then it consolidated for a while, and then just like top ticked that high, stopped me out, and so I was pissed about that. Re-enter, and yeah, I basically just like lost my mind with the way that price kind of unfolded here. Um, so I got bottom ticked at break even on ES. Took some of these losses, so now I'm angry at myself for originally winning my trade in the morning and then sticking around in the market and just like giving all that profit back. So I was pissed at myself at this point. Then I short this, absolutely top ticked at not break even for a loss right there. Pissed about that. And I'm like, this is definitely just like stop rating that high. I'm going back in short again. It's profitable. Takes out the internal lows, runs up. Unbelievable top tick at break even here. So literally was like about to drill my head through my laptop. Then another entry model, we break down, shift in market structure, get back in. Profitable, very profitable. Runs up, unbelievable top tick again. Like I can't even believe like how many times I got top ticked at break even. But right there on that wick at 350. And then I just like smacked another short like all the way down here and just got smoked on this one for a loss in like 30 seconds. Um, and then yeah, it was pretty much like that's why I have this imbalance marked out. We were pretty much just like wicking this thing over and over and over again. And then we formed a little SMT at the internal high. I'm down like $2,500 now. Um, and had I lost this one, I think I would have blown all three accounts if I lost this trade. And I was sick, man. I was absolutely sick. Literally got top ticked like three, four times now. Um, yeah, and I just smacked this trade. And this is when it actually worked out. I didn't get top tick here. I was gonna get ticked again, which is like literally unfathomable. I would have thrown my laptop out the window. But right here, um, we nearly take out this low. So we have like these equal lows here. And then it ran back up to break even. And I was like, there's no way. There's no way I'm getting top ticket again. Like, I'll accept the loss. I don't give a fuck. I was fuming. Um, so yeah, all of this was just like rage gambling pretty much. Um, didn't get top ticked. And then I had to get out by 4:10 p.m. That's Top Steps rules. So this was going to be my first target, but I just exited the whole position at 4:10 p.m. and that pretty much made back most of the money. So I only ended the day red. I think it was like $275 from the New York session, and then it was like 1,700 from Asia. Yeah, that makes sense. So about 2K in total for that day. So spent the weekend reflecting on that. Um, yeah, I think overall, like trading gold and New York every day is just too much trading. That gold session, I made as you saw, like I made a bunch of mistakes, broke all my rules pretty much. I was like thinking about that all the way through this New York session. And I think just the pain of like being pissed off at myself and kind of like tilted and like burnt out, I guess, from trading already going into Friday, just like was the recipe for me to like tilt on Friday. So I think it's just too much trading, too much chart time. I need to just kind of either trade gold or trade New York and then take a setup and just leave and call it a day. That way I'm not using so much mental capital on it. I think that the more exposure that you have to the downsides of your trading and of yourself and of your strategy, the better you're able to tailor it to yourself. I can't define a winning trade without taking a losing trade. I don't know what a good trade is without being able to define a bad trade. I won't know what conditions I'm good at if I don't find the conditions that I'm bad at So if I don't have days like this where emotionally and mentally I'm just like fried from like, over trading in the Asia session and then I wake up and I'm pissed off about it, like I wouldn't know that that is a bad recipe for my profitability unless I put myself in that scenario multiple times and have a negative outcome from it. So, although this challenge is to pay for my expenses, I'm just learning and collecting data and journaling all my trades. So, you know, I'm not necessarily upset with taking a trade and losing it. I'm happy to collect that data because I know in the future that will make me more profitable because I lost these trades, in the beginning of my journey. So that's that. I have $2,500 worth of drawdown on these three accounts. This is pretty much the last hurrah for this month. Because if I blow these accounts, I mean, in theory, I could still like, you know, go through a combine and pass it and then get 5 winning days and get a payout. But that'd be kind of cutting it close at the end of the month. So we're gonna see what we could do on these ones. But that's just a little halfway point recap on the challenge. Not looking too great right now, but I think I'm confident I can pull through. I just gotta stay disciplined and take some clean setups and stop over trading. So until the next one, thank you for watching. Peace out.